Okay, so this video is going to be about why the narcissist chooses you. Okay, and there's a lot of reasons for this. Because they have so many imbalances and they're coming from such a place of lack on the inside, they have a lot of issues they're trying to fix by attaching themselves to you. One of them is that they can be jealous of you. They're very jealous type. So they see your good qualities, and because in their mind they know deep down that they probably don't have any good qualities, they're going to attach to you to make up for that, because they figure if they're seen with you and they're around you, that's going to make their reality better, and it probably does. But because they have this thing in their mind where they bond with people in such a way that they figure if y'all just mesh together, you'll just become one person. And sometimes it feels that way, and we're going to get to that. But they figure, if y'all just screw enough times and spend enough time together, that you'll just become one. And that they'll, start to take on all of your good qualities so they can be great just like you. And that's a really screwed up way to be, but I mean, that's how they do. This is why it's important to know, like, the real definitions behind the word narcissist, and not just, people throwing it around, because it is a real and true illness. It's hardcore and it runs deep. So that's the kind of shit they do, and most people do not do that. Most people that, feel inadequate usually do the overcompensating stuff. Depending on their personality, they could do the overcompensating stuff, but it's never to the degree that the narcissist does. So anyway, they see your good qualities. They see that you have empathy. They see something in you that just makes you magical to them. And you probably do have good qualities. I'm not saying you don't. You probably do, because you're drawing people in, and you're drawing people in who are desperate for those good qualities. They're desperate to be exposed to it. They're desperate to be involved in it. They're desperate to have it. They're desperate to try to attain it for themselves, So you're being admired in a way, it's just in an evil way. And so it in the long run, it's not a good admiration, but they admire you nonetheless. So they see what you have, and they want it, either they want it in a selfish way for themselves. They want to be seen with you. They want to be associated with you because you're so great. Or they'll go after somebody who's highly intelligent. They go after people who are like top notch. I'm not saying the rest of y'all aren't, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they go after people that everybody else kind of wants to, and for one reason or another. Or they go after somebody that would be seen as just, really high quality to own, since they do so much ownership. And that, because to them that elevates them, and they level up, and they go up through the ranks if they associate with someone who is, so much better than them. They'll never say that. They'll never ever say it to you, but that is what they think. They could be jealous of you because they're going to see all these good qualities that you have, whether you're intelligent, you're successful with money, you live in a good neighborhood, your family is, you come from a good background, or your business is going well, or you're athletic and you're healthy, and everybody wants to look like you, or whatever it is about you that they see that's so amazing. They admire you, but they also envy you, because in their minds they figure they can't attain it for themselves. Really the only thing in the way of that is mindset, but they figure since they can't attain it for themselves that they'll just attach to you and suck it out of you, and and they'll be cool like you if they're just associated with you, but at the same time, they hate you for it. And there are a lot of people that are like that, but like I say, not to the extreme that the narcissist is. Because their goal is to, one of their goals is to, like I say, just enmesh the two of y'all together so that you share everything. You share identities, you share qualities, you share lives and stuff like that. It's not the same as just like living together or marrying somebody. This is different. This is, where they play mind games with you in such a way that they bury themselves so deep in your psyche that, you could be having, like I have have nightmares about this person, long after they're gone out of your life, and I had one boyfriend I had was a doozy, and I had dreams about him killing me for a long time after I didn't see him anymore. So it's like they get in there. They really do. For being as damned crazy as they are, they're really fucking good at what they do. It's the damnedest thing that the damn maniacs are so skilled. And they don't learn it from anybody. They didn't go to school for that. They just do it. So, but they're envious of people who they see as being, at the top. So to soothe their envy, they just figure if they get close enough to you, and if they can't absorb, like an amoeba, if they can't absorb your qualities and magically just, attain your qualities, that they'll at least own you, if nothing else. And the reason you see narcissistic personality shit so hugely common in men especially is because they're already, for lack of a better way to put it, I don't hate men, don't take it this way, but they're already about halfway there with those qualities, especially the ownership shit and stuff like that. They see women as something to have. They don't look at us as human beings. They look at us as something that's just, it's there for the taking. So they're halfway there. But the narcissist does all that shit that that you see, but it's just on a more extreme level. So they envy you. And like I say, another reason would be if your boundaries are just absolutely down. And people take advantage of no boundaries, all the time. They do it. But like I said, the narcissist is going to do this on a whole other level that you didn't even know was there. And they can talk you into things, and they can push you to do things that you would have never been okay with. Just things that you would be, especially things that you'd be terribly ashamed of afterwards. Like they love to push you into that shit, and it's just one of their ways of taking control. But if they see, because there were people, like even with me, like I had shite for boundaries, but when people, especially boyfriends, pushed me like past my limits and past things and pushed me into things I didn't want to do. Even with all that, even afterwards, I would hate myself, and I'd be ashamed of myself, and I'd be angry at them, and I'd be even more angry at myself. I never knew who I was angry at, myself or them. You know what I mean? Like I never knew who deserved my wrath more. But they do that, and then afterwards, you feeling so bad about it, you can't stand yourself, and you want to sit there and say, okay, well, damn it, I'm never going to let this happen again. And you just like make a vow with yourself to never be pushed around again. And then the next day you're right back where you were because you haven't learned. The shame isn't a lesson, it's just shame. So you don't learn from it, and you don't get better, you don't improve from it. And the narcissist knows this. So as long as they keep you in a shame cycle, they'll do that, and then they'll do something else to make you feel good and to make you feel like you're getting closer to your dream life or what have you. And then they'll do something else to shame you because that's to keep control over you and hit you in your soft spots. And they do that, and then they'll give you something shiny to distract you, and then so if you are low in your boundaries and you're easy to push around and you're kind and you're a people pleaser and you're this and you're that, they're going to eat that with a silver spoon because you're easy. And I don't mean that in an insulting way or a degrading way or condescending or whatever. I just mean plain and simple. I was too. I was easy. I was easy to push around. Mine was due to how the hell I grew up, because in the household I grew up in, you did what the man said or you got your ass whooped. And there was no other way to be. There was no other way to live. You did what the man told you, period. And that was it. That was my life, that little box. And so when I got older and started dating, I was perfect, because at that time, bear with me, at that time I looked like a model, and I also did whatever I was told. I did as I was told. Period, point blank. I followed orders. So I was everything everyone wanted. And it's no way to live. Whether you look perfect or not, it's no way to live. So there was somebody at the door every 2 weeks for me, and there was a different face all the time. I was just like, it was nonstop. There was always somebody coming after me. And I thought that was great. So I thought, oh my God, well, these boys think I'm important, so that's great. My parents don't give a damn, but these guys think I'm important, so I'll just go out with them. And my focus was boyfriends, because they acted like I was this great thing, but not for the right reasons. But when I was 19, I didn't know that. I know now. I'm almost 36, so now I get it. But it's like at that time, I just didn't fucking know. And no one thought enough of me to explain it to me either. They just got pissed off when I brought home losers. But no one sat me down. No one sat my skinny ass down and said, look, what's going on? No one had the presence of mind to do that. So the cycle continued. But anyway, if you don't have boundaries and you don't know how to say no, or worse, especially if it's part of your upbringing, to do as you are told, and if the man that raised you or was part of your upbringing was very overbearing and domineering, that's going to add to it. It just adds to it, especially for women, because we're taught that if we don't make him happy, we're not going to survive. And that's just part of the training. That you don't escape that. That's part of our training. It's like a worldwide thing. They make sure that we know that if we don't make them happy, we won't live. So, it's real convenient for them. So that being the case, when you are taught that that's, the way to be, and that that's the only way to be, you're great for the narcissist, because you're going to do whatever he tells you to, except he's going to prey on, you're not having boundaries. Your father may not have done that, but the narcissist boyfriend especially is going to, because he can push you to do whatever he wants. And he's going to take money from you. He's going to go through your phone. He's going to come over whenever he wants. He's going to get between your legs whenever he wants. He's going to tell you what to do. He's not going to tell you about his wife or other girlfriends or other wives or whatever they are. You're not going to know any of that shit, because he's counting on you not being able to put your fucking foot down. And there could be a million reasons for that. Like I say, probably upbringing would be number one, depending on what the man was like that quote unquote raised you. I feel the same way. So it's like, I'm not talking down on you. It's just like, we're in the same boat. So, but I know how that feels. But, shit like that. And then a lot of times, and this is one of the weirder, psychological ones, not that the rest of it isn't, but anyway. Sometimes you and the narcissist can have the same or similar wounds from childhood, like the same hurts. Let's say both of y'all were neglected in a certain way, or both of y'all were let down in a certain way, in one way or another. Like, y'all may have both had, let's say you both had wounded masculine, where the man in your upbringing did you wrong somehow, in a major way, and it stunned you for a long time, and it stayed with you. And even though as a child you accepted it, as much as it hurt, you accepted it, but still you carry it with you, because it never gets resolved, because no one thinks enough of people, or especially children, to do that. They just do shit to them. But you get hurt somehow by him, and this could be anything. He doesn't have time for you. He hits you. He criticizes you, or whatever it is. He does whatever he does, and you keep that with you because it hurts so bad, and it was wrong. And that is some wounded masculine, and you're going to carry that with you. And then so into adulthood, you do weird shit to try to mollify and soften that, and try to make it not so bad. and you'll see people overcompensate or whatever. And it's usually what it is. And or you'll see people who like work too hard, or they're always real rigid, and they try not to get emotionally involved in things because that would be considered, you know, making themselves too vulnerable or whatever. Anyway, there's a lot to that, but you and the narcissist can have like a similar wound like that, where y'all both come from the same hurt place, and you both might be operating from the same wound, and because of that, y'all can sort of smell it in each other, and that sometimes brings people together because you both have the same pain points. And I have had this problem with people in the past. Like I've had this problem with boyfriends, the ones that stuck around long enough for me to get to know anyway. You know, just a few similarities here and there that made sense. And but like I say, the narcissist won't admit to any of that. They're not gonna, because they think nothing's wrong with them. So they're not gonna tell you about their pain and things like that. They might, but there's a good chance that they won't, because they think they're perfect and that there is no problem. You know, the problem is you. The problem is you asking too many questions. So it takes a long time to really look over the things that they do and the things that you do, and to compare them, and see the similarities. Even sometimes even after the narcissist leaves, sometimes they can even put narcissistic tendencies into you and almost program you that way. And it doesn't make you NPD, it doesn't, but it just means that they've implanted themselves so well into your psyche that you start to reflect some of their shitty ass qualities. We've all done it. Anybody who's been stuck with a narcissist long enough will know what I'm talking about. I'm probably going to save that for another video because that's a different topic, but it's a good one. So, but anyway, things like that, you know, the narcissist can choose you over jealousy, being jealous of your qualities, seeing how great you are, and they want to be great too, so they figure if they associate with you enough, that'll somehow magically make them great as well. It doesn't. Short answer is it doesn't. They're just there. They don't take on your character. They don't know that though. Or they want to upgrade their life somehow, so they'll go after somebody that everybody else wants, and they'll go after somebody who has all these wonderful things about them because it's, you know, that's supposed to make their life better. It probably does. Like I say, being around you probably did make their life better. I'm sure it did, but that's why it's about them. It's about their survival, and it's about their upgrading. You know, not you as a person. They don't care. Or in another weird roundabout way, it could be because y'all have the same wounds. The only difference is your wounds have destroyed your boundaries and made you easy to push around, and their wounds haven't so much destroyed their boundaries, but because they let you know who's boss real quick, don't they? But it makes them to where they are trying to make up for it in such a way that they will do the crazy shit they do, and that could be anything to control not just their life but everybody around them. And to protect themselves, they'll lie to people. One of the biggest things they do is lie, and that's to create the fantasy, you know, that once they learn enough about you and they see like what your heart is set on, and your dreams and your aspirations and shit like that, and things like that you just wish you could do, like, you know, maybe in another dimension where, you know, you're everything you've ever wanted to be. Once they smell that, they get a whiff of that, they say, okay, now I got your number now, all right, I know you, bitch, I know all about you. And they're gonna use that for the building blocks and start building this fucking fantasy world, you know, where your dreams are possible, but only through them. Kind of like Jesus. So, you know, they build this, they use that, they use your dreams and your goals and your wishes, you know, to build this shite castle for you to live in and say, look what else is possible. I can help you do that. You know, blah, 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 whatever the fuck. And they're coming from wounds of being disappointed too, except that's how they process it. It's really backwards. It doesn't make any sense, but that's what they do. So, shit like that. I'm going to try to keep this video short, so I'm going to leave it at that. But that would be, you know, some of the reasons that they pounce on you. They could also do it with people who are empaths. That's a whole other level, because that's a lot of... we have to talk about wavelengths and frequencies and things like that, and vibes, if you will. But that is possible too, and I'm thinking about even doing a course on it, why the narcissist chooses empaths and how you can get the hell out of there. So I think that might be something I want to do, because it's such a big deal. Because they do choose people that are, you know, cut above the rest, and people who are, you know, mystical and in tune and things like that. They thrive on that shit. What they don't thrive on is when you get in tune with them and you see all their bullshit and then the whole thing falls apart. They thrive until everyone loves the seer until the seer sees them. You know what I mean? Like, it's so cool until they look right at you and say, well, you know what your problem is? Blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, so I've had that problem a lot, where people will get close to me and they want my vibe, so they get close to me and they get up my ass, and then when they do something dumb, I'm like, well, you know, that sounds like you are probably doing that because of blah, blah, blah. Remember that time you told me about when you were a kid and la, 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 and that really hurt you and you haven't gotten over it? Well, the behavior you just did is probably because of that. And when people hear that, they go fucking haywire. They can't stand it. So there have been a lot of people who quit talking to me because I told them what was up, and it's just par for the course. It's just, shit happens. But they love all that shit until until they have to get it. Because they put themselves out there. You know what I mean? It's not like I just walk up to random people and be like, you know, what's your problem? You know, like, no, they have to get up my ass first. And then after that, I think, okay, you're up my ass, I'm going to tell you what's going on with you. And then it comes apart at the seams after that. So you have to be willing to, you know, lose the friendship you thought was there when you tell people what they're struggling with. Because they don't want to, no one wants to face it. So that is a huge thing. And the narcissist would be in denial of all that anyway. Empath or not, you know, they're not gonna apologize. They're not, sure as hell aren't gonna sit there and admit that there is something wrong with them, or that they've done you wrong or whatever. And on the occasion, I had one of them who apologized to me like one time, but that was, you know, for show. It wasn't real, and I didn't know that until later, but it just wasn't real, much like all the rest of it. And so, sorry, when the narcissist apologizes, if they do, you just have to keep in mind to not get carried away in that, because that's not, they don't mean it. You know what I mean? Like, they don't mean that. So you just have to be careful. Don't get sucked in, because they are preying on your lack of boundaries and your trust and shit like that, and they're gonna use that until there's nothing left. So but those are just some of the reasons that, you know, the narcissist will attach themselves to you. So I might go into more detail later in a different video, but for now I think that's I think that pretty much covers the main stuff. So I hope that brought you some clarity and some direction. And like I say, you know, if you need more help, y'all know where to find me. Thanks.